sunlight pierced through the water, casting a strange glow across the surface of Howe Sound. Nathan Carter, immersed in the cool waters off the coast of British Columbia, had no idea that this ordinary October day would change his life forever. With over a decade of diving experience, hundreds of dives, and thousands of feet of underwater footage, nothing could have prepared him for the encounter ahead. Visibility that day was exceptional, about 30 meters. The water, though only 13 degrees Celsius, was incredibly clear. Nathan swam leisurely through thick clusters of kelp, pointing his camera lens at sparkling sea stars scattered across the rocky seabed. A small group of sea cucumbers caught his attention, and he decided to take a few macro shots. That was when he sensed a subtle change in the water's movement. Something large was nearby. Nathan slowly turned, hoping to see a curious seal or perhaps a juvenile orca, common visitors in these waters. But what he saw left him frozen in amazement. A young humpback whale, no more than 4 meters long, was only a few meters away. Its movements were strange, completely unlike the usual behavior of these majestic creatures. The calf moved erratically, frequently turning back to glance at the diver, as if checking whether he was following. Its small eyes, remarkably expressive for such a large animal, radiated both worry and a plea for help. Nathan held his breath and turned on his camera. Such a close interaction with a wild whale was extraordinarily rare, but the animal seemed uninterested in being filmed. It swam closer, nearly brushing Nathan with its massive fin, then darted to the side in a wide arc and returned again. This repeated several times, and with each pass, Nathan grew more certain. The whale was trying to tell him something. After the 5th or 6th movement, the calf abruptly changed course and began swimming in a specific direction. After about 20 meters, it stopped and turned back, as if checking whether the diver was still behind. Nathan hesitated. Following a wild animal into open waters could be dangerous, but something in the whale's persistence, its almost desperate movements, made it impossible for him to turn away. Checking the pressure gauge and compass on his diving gear, Nathan decided to follow his unlikely guide. They moved northeast, gradually leaving the shoreline behind. The water deepened and the sunlight dimmed. Every 30 to 40 meters, the calf paused, giving Nathan time to catch up and ensuring he stayed close. After more than 500 meters, they arrived at a small underwater valley. Here, in the shallow depths, Nathan saw a sight that chilled him to the bone. A massive adult humpback whale, at least 14 meters long, lay nearly motionless in the water. Its body was covered in a strange gray layer. As he approached, Nathan realized it was barnacles, but not the usual small clusters found on whales. This was a dense layer, several centimeters thick in some places, coating nearly the entire body. Only small patches around the eyes and blowhole were clear. The calf swam up to the larger whale, likely its mother, and gently nudged her, as if trying to get her to move. But the adult only weakly twitched her tail. Even through the water, Nathan could clearly see that the mother whale's breathing was labored and uneven. Wasting no time, he swam closer. His hands trembled as he drew the titanium dive knife from the strap on his hip. He knew that such a thick layer of barnacles was a sign of a serious health issue. Normally, a whale's strong immune system prevents parasites from overgrowing, but here, something had severely weakened this majestic creature. Carefully approaching the whale's body, Nathan began removing the largest clusters of barnacles. The task was incredibly difficult. He had to be gentle enough not to damage the whale's skin, but firm enough to dislodge the deeply embedded parasites. The calf never left its mother's side, constantly swimming around them and occasionally releasing deep, resonant sounds that echoed underwater. The mother barely moved, only blinking slowly when Nathan came into view. After 30 minutes of strenuous effort, Nathan had cleared a patch only the size of a dining table. but it was a drop in the ocean. The whale's body was still almost entirely covered. He couldn't finish the job alone. Worse, his pressure gauge indicated his air supply was nearly depleted. Nathan quickly surfaced, trying to memorize his exact location. Climbing onto the boat, he grabbed the radio and contacted the Marine Rescue Team. His voice trembled with emotion as he described the situation to the dispatcher. Fortunately, on the other end of the line was a seasoned expert. After a series of rapid questions about the whale's condition, the dispatcher confirmed that a rescue team would arrive within an hour. At that moment, Nathan felt a flicker of hope in the vast ocean. Every minute aboard the rescue vessel felt endless. Nathan couldn't sit still. He repeatedly dove to check on the whale, mother, and calf. The calf had stopped circling in distress. It now swam quietly around its mother, occasionally touching her with its small fin as if to reassure her. The mother still breathed, but weakly. Nathan looked up at the horizon. Then he saw it. A specialized rescue ship approaching, leaving gentle ripples across the calm sea. Help had arrived. The rescue boat stopped directly above the stranded whale. On board were 6 people: 2 marine veterinarians, 3 rescue specialists, 1 whale behavior researcher. They quickly assessed the situation, then 2 divers equipped with full gear plunged into the water. "We need to act fast. If we wait too long, she won't survive," one veterinarian said over the radio. The divers used specialized tools, hydraulic scrapers, to remove the barnacles clinging to the whale's skin. Unlike Nathan's knife, these tools could remove the parasites quickly and safely. One by one, the barnacle clusters peeled away, drifting in the current, but the whale's condition did not improve. "We need a closer look." The veterinarian performed an underwater ultrasound. What they saw horrified them. There was a foreign object in the whale's stomach. Its shape was disturbingly familiar. A veterinarian frowned. "We've seen this before." They immediately decided the whale needed emergency surgery. "If we don't remove it, she won't make it." The rescue team quickly executed a plan to transport the whale to the rehabilitation center. Using a system of flotation buoys and towing lines, they gently guided the massive whale into a rescue net. The calf panicked, swimming in frantic circles. "It thinks we're hurting her." Nathan dove down and gently reached out, touching the calf. "We're helping. Trust us," he whispered, knowing it couldn't understand his words. But a miracle happened. The calf stopped moving. It quietly followed its mother. At the rehabilitation center, veterinarians immediately began surgery. What they removed from the whale's stomach left everyone stunned. It was an industrial fishing net, soaked with toxic chemicals. A researcher gasped, "Oh my God, that net contains tributyl." Tributyl, a highly toxic antifouling chemical banned for decades due to its devastating effects on marine life. Nathan clenched his fists. This stuff was banned over 20 years ago. How is it still out there in the ocean? The veterinarians explained. If they had arrived a few days later, she likely would not have survived. But now, she had a chance. 3 weeks later, a miracle happened. The wounds on the whale's body had healed. The barnacles had been completely removed. Veterinarians conducted blood tests. The toxin levels had dropped significantly. She was ready to return to the ocean. Throughout the recovery, the calf had never left her side. The center's staff were deeply moved by its loyalty. "If not for the calf, we may never have known the mother's condition," one caretaker said. On a clear, sunny day, dozens gathered by the shore to witness the whale's return to the wild. Nathan stood on the escort boat, camera ready to capture every moment. The gates of the rehabilitation pool slowly opened. The mother and calf did not rush out. They swam in circles for a while, as if taking one last look at the humans who had saved them. Then, as if by mutual decision, they dove deep together. But then they stopped. A breathtaking moment followed. From beneath the surface, both the mother and the calf breached at the same time, soaring into the air, their massive bodies glinting in the sun before crashing down with a thunderous splash. Gasps and cheers erupted from the shore. Nathan smiled. This is their way of saying thank you. And then, like shadows, the mother and calf swam toward the horizon, heading north. They had truly returned to the wild. Then, one day, another miracle happened. The following summer, Nathan returned to the waters where it all began. He frequently dove here, not to chase miracles, but because the ocean had become a part of him. But one dazzling afternoon, as the sunset painted the water crimson, he saw something that made his heart stop. White spouts shot into the sky in the distance. Massive shapes glided just beneath the surface, ghostly shadows of the deep. A pod of humpbacks was moving along the coast. Nathan grabbed his binoculars, tracking their movements, and then he recognized them. The mother and her calf. They had returned, stronger, healthier, freer than ever. On the mother's body there was no trace of the parasites, only a faint scar on her flank, the sole reminder of the past. The calf, now much larger, swam close beside her, matching her every move. Then, as if to confirm what Nathan already knew, the calf suddenly surged toward his boat, gliding just beneath the surface. It wasn't afraid. It slowed, then raised its massive fin and gently tapped the water right in front of him. Nathan was speechless. No words were needed. They remembered. They didn't just remember Nathan. They remembered that humans had once saved them, fought to give them a second chance at life. He lowered his hand into the water, a gesture of acknowledgement. A gentle wave passed over his fingers, a sacred moment between man and ocean. Then, like a silent farewell, the mother and calf slowly swam away, disappearing into the horizon, continuing their epic journey across the sea. That moment changed Nathan forever. He was no longer just a diver. That experience etched a mission deep into his heart, to protect marine life and the ocean. He left his old job and joined the Marine Rescue Center, helping other creatures like the mother and calf he'd once saved. The photos and footage he captured became powerful educational material, raising awareness about the damage humans inflict on the sea. Nathan knew he was just one small person in a vast ocean, but he also knew that one small act could spark great change. Each year, when the migration season came, humpback whales would return to British Columbia's waters. And each year, Nathan went out to sea, watching for the spouts rising against the deep blue horizon. He knew there was no guarantee he'd see the same whales again, but deep in his heart, he believed that somewhere in the ocean, they remembered the one who saved them. And that's why he never stopped hoping, because the ocean always holds wonders for those who know how to listen and wait. A story not only of rescue, but of the deep bond between humanity and nature. In the heart of the sea, sometimes miracles still happen.